Yep, actually perfect timing. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 7 of Spider-Gwen week, the last and final day. For those who've been watching, I skipped the last 2 days because unfortunately my wife writes for Paranormal Pop Culture, so she needed to take over the computer for that, so I wasn't able to do that. Plus, I was exhausted because I'm old and all that. But when I was doing this, I was chatting with a very cool, excellent guy on Twitter. Goes by the handle of Mystery Vlog, and he's our friend Capn. So Capn Cummings has decided he wanted to join me today. So Capn, good to see you.
Well, thanks for having me on, and thanks you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Yeah, yeah. Just something for those. Well, I'm just going to introduce myself real quick, and then you can fill in anything you do. I do a weekly show every Sunday at 12:30 called Dylan Knows on YouTube. I'm up to episode 73. Every week is a different genre with a different co-host, and should be fun. Actually, this weekend, this Sunday, March 1st, will be my comic show. So it should be an interesting discussion that we've got going on about that. But this is, just our friend, I think you're friends with her as well, Jessica from Comicosity, Charming Red. She's the one who came up with, I believe she was the one who came up with the idea for Spider-Gwen Week, which was Spider-Gwen, who is a new character introduced in slot. Has taken the world basically by storm and has gotten enough exposure that she's getting her own series. And the first issue, as you just saw, came out this week. And so Jessica decided she wanted to, do a live tweet of every appearance of Gwen leading up to this point, and then finish it off. They did theirs at 7 p.m., but 7 p.m. is kids, my kids anyway. Dinner and bath time and stuff like that. Plus, my son had a nice little meltdown today, and this was almost canceled, but he calmed himself down. And give him credit for that. I mean, he is 5, so it's
Yeah,
cool. But
it's a great
but
age, though.
yeah, it is a great age, absolutely. So I figured, you know what, Captain wanted to join me for this, and I figured why not? It's the last day, and get a different perspective. So Captain, tell me a little bit about yourself. If you want to push anything, absolutely go ahead. Your YouTube page, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I have a YouTube page where I talk about comic books, or anything else. Like I've been telling a little bit of stories lately. I did one where um, Bank of America gave me 9 grand for no reason, and then I was like, hey, maybe you guys better figure this out. Just whatever seemed interesting.
You're a good guy. I'd be like, 9 grand, sweet. I get a new car now, a used car, but still. But that's cool. Yeah. So absolutely go. Captain Cumming is our friend here. So you can check out his YouTube page. My YouTube page is under, I think it's Dylan Lang, Dylan, something like that. Yeah, you'll find it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is just a hangout. So what we're here is we're going to be talking about Spider-Gwen 1 and Spider-Gwen in general. And actually, Captain, if you want to start off with, week before the show, you had a little discussion we had about her. If you want to just give your take on Spider-Gwen right now, that'd be perfect.
All right. Well, I really like the cover. First off, like all the colors, the psychedelic colors in the background with her, right there. And overall, I like the story, and I want to see more. I think that like my own hype that I had for the book made me like I don't know, maybe not like it so much, but there's a lot of cool stuff that I liked. Seeing Ben Grimm in the first panel was cool, and him talking about Yancey Street stuff. And I saw something very, very interesting, like a little Easter egg in the book. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Um, look, maybe one more page. There it is. She's going through this room, and it says Mr. Z. Now, if you know who Mr. Z, now, wait a second. I got it right here. I found a book by Steve Ditko way back in the day called Mr. A. I think that might be an Easter egg
Oh wow.
to Mr. Steve Ditko there. So
Huh.
I
That's
thought that was
actually
really interesting.
yeah. I mean, I've been a collector of comics for a really long time, and I worked at Diamond for a while, but I never even knew that existed really. So that's actually brilliant. And you know what? I mean, there are a lot of little things here and there, and that's actually interesting. And I'm pretty sure that that's not just any little. It's just what she's looking at. No, I'm sure it probably is going to play a part in upcoming storyline. That's a brilliant deduction. I didn't even think about that. That's fantastic, man. I knew I had you on for a reason. What? Anything else? I mean, how about any other things? Like, what was your take on the Vulture in this one? I liked this version of the Vulture. He seemed a lot more. He more egotistical, yes, but he also seemed to be a bit more brutal, also, which I thought
Yeah,
was
brutal. He doesn't act as like he looks old, but he doesn't, act as old. It seems, at least in this, as that he usually does, in like at least like the stories that I've read with the Vulture.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I agree because I mean, even Robbie Rodriguez sort of draws him as some sort of, I don't know, maybe he's on drugs or something. I don't know. He's got the big red eyes and the sharp teeth and maybe some sort of mutation.
and of course, it ends like in a way that you would expect, a Vulture story to end. So that's a cool cliffhanger, that you get. I love the coloring in this book. I mean, and I think it's the same coloring that was in the other one. I don't have that book with me at this point, but I think it is.
I'm sure probably. I mean, it's pretty much the entire creative team has come back. It wouldn't surprise me, and it looks pretty much like the Edge of Spider-Verse story. So I believe that Rico Renzi probably was the same colorist. Wouldn't surprise me as Edge of Spider-Verse story that was introduced Gwen anyway.
Yeah, and I think I really want to see what develops with the band because obviously that's going to be a big part of the story. So, and there's drama already with it, so it's going to be something good probably.
And that's what makes, and that's yeah, and that's one of the things that makes the comic really cool is that she now, she's a typical high school girl, and in this era of social media where, say, Justin Bieber could be some unknown hick kid who puts a couple songs on YouTube, all of a sudden he's got over 1 million hits, and the record companies come calling, and now we know all about him. It's YouTube is true. I mean, it's in some cases it's easily able to become an instant celebrity. In some cases, depending upon it. Others, like you and myself, we're digging and clawing our way. It's just depressing when I look at how many views I get for my shows. I'm like, 31. Come on. And then you go see some other people. They're like 200 and 300. I was like, man, I wish I had that many. But I'm not doing this because I want to become popular on YouTube. I'm doing it because it gives me an outlet to get my opinion, because I like to throw up opinions, as it were, and I like to talk a lot. So this is the absolute easiest way to do that. But yeah, but the fact is, they're following this sort of a similar track as maybe a Justin Bieber is by their song went viral on YouTube, so it's starting to become very popular, starting to build and is spreading out. But then all of a sudden, the issue with what happened at Edge of Spider-Verse, where they were attacked in the middle of their concert, and Gwen showed up late and had to take on the bad guy. And then now you're seeing this separation between them because in a lot of bands, you've got the person, in this case it's Mary Jane, MJ, who pretty much probably wants to be a solo act, but she's not I don't think she's comfortable enough to do it on her own, so she gathered her friends together, Glory and Gwen, and get them to do it. But she's got that attitude of someone who wants to be a superstar, and that's kind of an interesting take on Mary Jane, mainly because we know her mostly as she was the model and the supermodel and stuff like that in the 616, and now we get a similar sort of MJ, but she's more, I want to be, the greatest. I'm going to be Madonna in her prime, that type of thing. So, and that's actually very very cool. And then that is a storyline that is going to develop. I mean, it got worse in this issue with Glory deciding that she didn't want to be part of the band either anymore. So now they're down 2 members of the band. So that should be interesting. But I loved the Easter eggs of seeing Randy Robertson come in and is sort of the guy who's hanging out. It seems to be the voice of reason. It seems like, saying, hey, why don't you try to get Gwen back and into the band, and then you can get back to being as popular as you were. And I thought that was kind of brilliant. And there's a ton of Easter eggs in here. Absolutely. I want to
Mhm.
get your take on what's your take on Captain Frank Castle?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me look at the page real quick so I can remember. He was beating up one of the inmates or something, wasn't he? Is he
Yeah,
a guard?
yeah, I think no, I think I think when Foggy Nelson came was talking to Captain Stacy, they're saying that you went against what the mayor wanted you to do, so you're being removed from the task force, and we put in this new guy who's interrogating a suspect now, and it happens to be the same guy who attacked Gwen at the or was
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to attack Gwen at the concert, and the fact is he's a brutal uh, police officer. I mean, there's the picture right there, and also it kind of made me feel bad almost for the bad guy because he was just getting the crap beaten out of him,
Yeah.
and even after he talked, he was still getting the crap beat out of him, and it made me feel really bad for him. It's like I shouldn't be feeling bad for this guy. He tried to kill people, but yet there's evil evil Frank Castle just beating the shit out of somebody. It's crazy. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, he was using his fists instead of the bullets, so I mean, I guess he's a little bit nicer. but, but it's just, they introduced Frank in issue 1, so I mean, he's gonna have some big part in the story, I guess. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's like, Punisher started in Amazing Spider-Man, so to have him in issue number 1 in here, it's another Amazing Spider-Man thing into this book that will be interesting to see how it goes along.
And that's what's the neat thing about these like alternate realities and stuff like that. I mean, you mentioned earlier, Ben Grimm. He's not the Thing. He's a police officer on the beat, but he's talking Yancey Street, and he's talking like
Mhm.
it'd be basically as what if the Ben never went into space and got hit by the cosmic rays and became the Thing? He probably more than likely, if he wasn't going to be going into the armed forces, he probably would have been a police officer. He just had that the football star muscular type of thing that likes to do what's right, and it might not be the brightest bulb. Not that being a police officer is dumb. It's really difficult, but I'm just saying maybe just it's a what if scenario is apparently I guess I mean we don't know, and it's a whole new world you can play in. I mean maybe there's no Fantastic Four, and we don't even know Matt Murdock, who didn't appear in this issue but appeared in Edge of Spider-Verse. He's got his own agenda. He's apparently working for the Kingpin now, so we don't even know if there's even maybe there's an evil Daredevil out there, or maybe he's not Daredevil yet. So I like the fact that they're setting up all of these they're getting different spins, I guess, on characters you're used to seeing. And I don't know if you read this, Captain, when it came out back in the 90s, I guess, Exiles. I don't know if you ever saw Exiles, the mutant title.
No, I've never read the Exiles.
It started off with it was great. It was some of Judd Winnick's early work at Marvel, and say what you will about Judd Winnick, he's up and down. Some things he does really well, sometimes he doesn't. I found Exiles was actually one of my favorite comics for the longest time. It was a group of mutants, basically kind of similar to what happened in Spider-Verse. They were different mutants, but they weren't all like say Spider, or no, they weren't all like Nightcrawler. They were all different types of mutants. There's like a Nightcrawler and a Storm and a Wolverine, stuff like that. And they were all from different dimensions, and they were a team, and they would dimension hop, almost like the TV show Sliders. They would go to alternate dimensions and have to solve a problem, and then move on to the next one. But it was characters that you'd never really seen before, and you
Hmm.
had no attachment to it, so you could do things to them and play with them a little bit and make it more interesting. And it just seemed it was an amazing type of story. And to have them leap to all these different dimensions and meet all these different aspects of the Marvel characters, different what ifs, like DC does Elseworlds, you get the different takes
Yeah.
on the characters, and I kind of like that stuff. So maybe that's why I was digging Spider-Gwen a little bit more. Is I like the different takes on the characters. I mean, you've got the Vulture, who I absolutely love, and you've got the Ben Grimm police officer, and then you even have new creations like the Bodego Bandit, which was great. So you can create some. That was the guy that.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
It's like when Spider-Man beats up, the seed listers, in like 2 seconds, and you're like, that's exactly what they did in the first panel. And it's just fun to see. I don't know. I think maybe I was just in a bad mood of reading it, but just even talking about it makes me like it even more. I can't wait to read more of it, though, because I think if it's something that develops even better, it'll make me even like the first. You know what I mean? Because if it goes somewhere special, then you'll like the first issue even more. But I just want to see more and see what happens with it. But I really liked the one shot or Edge of Spider-Verse 2 because it was like a one shot story, and it was just I got the love for one shot stories. They're like my favorite.
That's cool, and as I mentioned, I think the reason why I think is basically because you get everything you need in one bit. You get a beginning, you get a middle, and you get an end. And they might open up some other things, but it's at the same time that the character doesn't go off. It's okay. We got a good story out of it. It pretty much got wrapped up. They say, hey, here's a little something for you to chew on, but maybe you like to see more of it. But if you don't, it's no skin off their nose because it's not canon. It's not part of the Marvel universe that we know of. So one shots are good that way because then you get a complete story. And I can see it. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong, obviously, with that. I mean, and sometimes it's not successful. If you have a successful one shot and you decide to turn to a regular series, it might not be successful. So as I said, it's one of these probably a wait and see things as well. But in return, I like the fact that Latour's back writing it, and I like Robbie Rodriguez is drawing it. So the fact that the creative team that did the Edge of Spider-Verse storyline, they had ideas and have them doing it. So I think that's a plus on that. But yeah, obviously it's just one issue, and it's the beginning. It's basically does what like a pilot does for a TV series. It sets up the characters, it sets up some story arcs that they'll come back to in a couple of issues, or get wrapped up in the next 2 or 3 issues, or it'll get wrapped up and then spin off into something else. So it's just one of those things that they're laying the groundwork for something. But sometimes, it's just like, okay, I guess I have to wait now to see what happens. Whereas with the one shot, you're like, okay, you got the story. I got the story and I liked it. So no, that's a good viewpoint. Absolutely.
Well, and just from the ending of this book, that number 2 is going to start out real action packed. So you're going to want to get, if you read this one and you sort of like it, the second one's going to start out hitting hard, and then we'll see how it develops from there. But I like when a book starts hitting you right in the beginning and then moves on from there to give you more substance.
It's a good point also, is that, and that's what was really great about this, is that we don't have to go through an origin. Because basically they had the first issue. I mean, they did it in Edge of Spider-Verse. They said previously on Spider-Gwen. They do it again in the first page of this, where they say, okay, this is how she got the powers. This is why she is being wanted by the police. This is what happened to Peter Parker. So let's get to the story. And yeah, as you said, that's absolutely, it grabs your attention. It gets you involved with it. And yeah, this one started off a little slower than that. But yeah, the second one should absolutely blow you out of your mind. So hopefully. Anyway.
And that's the thing about the when they did previously, the recap. Like a lot of books, I'm not a fan of like just typing out what happened, and the like little one-page summary was perfect because you don't even need to read what happened. Like you just look at what page and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, and then you can just move on. Like if you didn't want to read them, you get what's going on right there. You're like, oh yeah, I fought that one guy. You just go on.
Exactly. I mean, in this era where you get 5 and 6 printings of a comic, it's pretty much out there. But if you didn't and you missed Edge of Spider-Verse #2, or you weren't interested in reading the Spider-Verse storyline in the Amazing Spider-Man story because you might maybe have a little bit of a crossover hangover or whatever because of all the crossovers Marvel does, that was the absolute, okay, you know what, this looks interesting, but should I pick it up because I don't know the character? And then you go to the comic book store, you turn the page to take a look at the artwork, and it's like, oh wait, previously on. Then you might just skim it at the comic store. It's like, oh, okay. And then you look through the rest of it. It's like, okay, I got it. So it's like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and buy it. And I agree. I totally agree with you. The writing previously on, come on. I mean, yeah, I like to read, but in comics, comics is a visual medium. You need to see the stuff. I mean, go back to the old style like they did it. Do captions, from the previous book, or create new ones that are different takes on those scenes, and get your get like, okay, you're getting a full comic now because comics are words and pictures, not just words. And that way, if you start off with a page that's all words, it's like, okay, but then you turn, it's like, okay, that's good artwork, so yeah. But if you start with pictures right away, it's like, okay, cool, I can leaf through it. But yeah, it's great, and as I said, we'll see what happens, and I agree with everything you said. I like the artwork. Yes, the cover is gorgeous. It is absolutely stunning. The color work. We can't forget what's his name, Rico Renzi with the color artwork. I mean, that is a phenomenal. And Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez. Hopefully, are going to be on the book for a while because I like what they're doing, and I love the fact that Peter Parker always has this, snarky, comedic attitude, and you get that a little bit from Gwen in this one, where she's spray painting all the buildings, trying to get the Vulture to come find her. I thought that was a really good take on things as well. So I'm excited to see what happens, and I can see the excitement and where people like, say, Jessica got really excited about stuff like that. But at the same time, Capn, I can see your perspective as well. Is that okay? You might have been expecting something different, or maybe weren't quite sure what you were expecting, and it wasn't quite, what you were looking forward to. But it doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, you said yourself, you liked it, so.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I don't read previews or anything like that, because if I expect anything, by looking at previews and stuff, it never lives up, so I just stay in the dark about everything, and then I just, open it up, and it's like, like it takes you away, I mean, that's just how I try to do it, I guess.
No, that's cool. I mean, everybody's different. I'm a guy who I don't mind, seeing what's coming up, spoiler things. But I actually, even though I used to work for Diamond, and when I was at Diamond, I was both a customer service rep for all the comic stores in the area, actually in the country, and I also was a brand manager for about 9 months. So I did I was actually one of the people that helped create the previews catalog. So I do know, I've got it from that perspective, but at the same time, maybe that's where it was kind of cool. It's like, okay, there's some comics that I like to read, and I'm learning what's going to happen before everybody else does, because it takes some time to get the previews set up. So I know what's going to happen, and then we'll put it out in previews, and then a couple weeks later you'll see what happens. But for those couple of weeks, I know what happens, and I don't feel superior because I'm not like that. But I like to have, I'm a big spoiler sport, I guess. I mean, I don't mind spoilers.
It's whatever you like. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, though, I try not to ruin anything. I mean, I'm not that guy who says, "Oh, you won't. Yeah, just wait to see what happens. This is what's going to happen." Yeah, you're not going to like that. I tease a little bit with The Walking Dead, with some of the people I watch The Walking Dead with, and tweet with them because they haven't read the comics and I have. It's like, oh yeah, just you wait, But I don't go any further than that. I give them just enough, just a little tip in the water, little toes like ding, just a little bit, and then pull it away.
And then they wonder if they want to ask, like, I want to know. You gotta tell me.
I was like, do you really, really want to know? Yes, yes. No, I'm not going to tell you. Or I might
Well,
reveal
even if
maybe
you
a
told them
little
the
bit more.
way The Walking Dead goes, it could be the opposite. Like anything can happen.
Oh yeah, and I also preface that also is like, I mean, this is what happens in the comics, but it's not necessarily going to be what's going to happen in the series. So, any last words you got, Captain, for Spider-Gwen?
I mean, just thank you guys, everybody, for watching. And I hope, hopefully you enjoy this. I mean, especially if you made it this far.
And then I will post links out there, and I'll push it for everybody else to see. So yeah, for that, I mean, it was great talking with you, and
Hmm.
I'll definitely have to get you on my show. Dylan knows sometime down the line, hang out with us and talk at a little bit longer pace. Sound cool?
It sounds really good, and I want to thank you for having me on, and I really enjoyed myself.
Excellent. It was nice seeing you, and nice talking to you. Nice meeting you for the most part, because first time I ever met you. And actually, no, I'm not going to play that song. I don't feel like I'm just going to head out and say, go out. Spider-Gwen #1 is out in comic stores today. You have this is the main cover, but there's also a Scotty Young cover. Do you want to show that one real quick, or do you have it
Yeah,
in
I got the
drafts? You
Scotty
have them?
Young, and they have like 1,000 of. They got like $100 variants if you want to go grab those. But here's the Scotty Young one. Yeah, I think it looks
That's
pretty
all.
good.
It's awesome. I like Scotty's stuff. I like his stuff. I think it's great to see those the variants. But having a little not a lot of money, I only go for what I want. And I just saw this cover, and I just love the colors of it. So go out and buy it. Hopefully your store will still have it. As I said, it came out today, but it's been getting a lot of buzz out there, and hopefully maybe by the weekend your store bought enough, and you'll be able to pick one up. If not, I'm sure we'll get the requisite second and third printings eventually down the line. But yeah, it's just a sign of success, I guess. Uh,
Yeah.
Thanks again, Capn, for coming on, and everybody go to his YouTube page and check it out.
Hmm.
Come check out my YouTube page as well, and I'll see you on Sunday for New Dylan Knows when we're talking comics, and heck, I might even bring this up again. Who knows? We'll see. But have a pleasant evening, and we'll see you later. And thanks for watching.